Plaintiff Rodney Schilling and his wife Katrina claim Katrina's brother abused her growing up. So when his wife called complaining about being abused by him as well, Katrina stepped in to help. However, Rodney is suing the couple today for loans. Defendants Lacey Rackley and her husband James insist James has never physically or verbally abused Lacey, and they claim Katrina not only abuses her children and her husband, but the two of them nearly divorced after Katrina cheated on Rodney. They deny owing for anything.
Start with you.
Judge, my name is Rodney Schilling. I'm suing James and Lacey for unpaid loans for moving them down from Utah to Idaho. James and Lacey been married for approximately 8 years. During that time, there's 3 different occasions Lacey has called my wife Katrina and complained about James being abusive to her.
That's a lie.
And crying on the phone, letting her know. The stuff Lacey has talked to her, have Katrina explained it because came from her.
First of all, I'm James's younger sister. James and I both suffered a horrific childhood. So when James and Lacey got together, and Lacey first called me in 2005 telling me that she was tired of James's emotional and verbal abuse. At that time, we said, come down to Idaho, take a week's break, and we'll see what we can do.
What did she say was happening?
Calls her names, belittles her, always barking at the kids, telling them that they're worthless. Just
what type of traumatic childhood, or horrific as you describe it, did you all have? What happened?
Incarcerated father. We were physically, sexually, emotionally abused by our own parents and our grandmother. Yeah. I was abused by my brothers as we were growing up. Okay. So when Lacey told me that she was tired of his abuse, I felt her pain. Yeah. So in 2005, she came and she stayed with us for a week. We got the kids enrolled in school. Her daughter attended kindergarten with my son for a week. 3 days later, James called, said he wanted to come up and talk to Lacey, and they went home together. They subsequently, she didn't leave him at that time. Throughout the years, continuous complaints. We would always drove to Utah to visit my nieces and my nephew because I've always, those kids are our priority. In 2011, April of 2011, Lacey called me and said that she had moved out of their big home that they had together, and she took her 3 children. They have 2 together, and then she has 1 stepdaughter. She moved into Section 8 housing so that she could live off of her son's SSI.
Why did she say she was leaving that time?
Because she couldn't take his mistreatment of her anymore.
So she moved in her own government subsidized rental place?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and what else?
So at that time, for the first few months, she was by herself, and within a few months, James has moved back in with her. He had changed jobs. He was a long haul truck driver, and he became a tow truck driver so that he could stay home with his family. And he moved in with her into that rent subsidized housing, even though he wasn't on the lease. Throughout the months, there had been problems within that apartment complex of complaints about James and James'
And if he was working full time as a truck driver, which is pretty good money, you don't get subsidized housing.
No, they don't.
His name wasn't on it. Yeah, that's fraud. That's welfare fraud. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
What are you shaking your head? That's it. That is what it is.
I agree, but they had
don't
no
shake
idea.
your head like that if you agree. Go ahead. Go
Your
ahead.
Honor, they don't know. He was.
No, that's what fraud is. They don't. They don't know.
No, Your Honor. My rent did know that. They don't know the story behind it.
Subsidized rent.
They were paying $77 a month.
Is that true?
And how do you know that?
Is that true?
No.
Because your wife told us.
No. When she first moved
How
there.
much were you paying for rent?
When she first moved there, while I got rid of the house, she did pay $77, and when I got there, it went to $675.
When they went up.
All right, let's move past the welfare fraud. Go ahead.
In December of 2005, Your Honor, I got phone calls that the emotional abuse had increased and that the landlord had notified.
This is 05. You're back to 05?
No, I'm back in December of 2011.
Gotcha.
The landlord had been given her threats that if James doesn't move out, you're going to be evicted. So she started telling me, I'm not going to have a place to go. James isn't going to have a place to go. We're fighting all the time. I can't take it anymore. Come January 2nd, I got a really panicked phone call from Lacey on the phone that she had just gotten in a huge argument with James, that she was holding onto the car of their Escalade while he drove away, and she called the cops on him because they were arguing and neither of them wanted to listen to each other. He
dragged her in the car.
She was holding onto the passenger side door as he drove away.
Yeah.
As he was driving away. So she called the cops. She called the Salt Lake Unified Police Department, Your Honor. I was unable to get the report, but I do have a case number.
She obviously moved in with you?
That was that day that she called and requested us if we would move her in April of 2012, because that's when her 1-year lease expired from
That's
Section
what these
8.
loans are for?
Yes,
moving
Your Honor.
her?
Yes,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
let me get background from them, and then we'll come back to you with the specifics.
All right, Your Honor. I've been married to James for over 10 years, and he has not been physically, emotionally, anything abusive.
Did you
to
leave
me.
in 05?
I did leave in 05.
For a week?
For a week,
Why?
yes. Because
Why?
as a married couple, we fight.
How about January of 12? She said you were dragged by a car.
That wasn't true, Your Honor.
Did you leave in January of 12?
No.
Okay, good enough. Anything else you want to tell me in terms of background?
Yeah. Katrina seems to think that James is emotionally and physically abusive because she blames her childhood for her. So she has this image in her head that James is abusive when it wasn't James who was abusive. It was their childhood that was abusive. So she's hung on to that.
No, she probably thinks that's the case because you left and moved in with them in 05.
I didn't move.
That may give
I did
oh,
not.
you told me you left for a week.
She left, but it was a vacation. She didn't move in.
With them?
No, I did not move in with them. I did.
Pardon me?
I did not move in with them in 2005.
Did you go there for a week?
I vacationed there because they wanted
Vacation?
me to. Yes.
You all live in a resort? Anything else you want me to know?
They keep pointing fingers at my husband being abusive, but she's physically and emotionally abusive to her husband, and in fact,
and her own children.
And her own children, and in fact,
Cheating on
they
her
were
husband.
going to get a divorce. She cheated on her husband while married in the temple,
Living in her apartment till I came up.
Yes.
On this money that she spent.
And
to
you
move
two
us all.
cheated on same thing. You cheated on your husband.
No, I did not.
He cheated on you.
No, I did not.
You even admitted
Your
to
Honor.
it.
No cheating over here.
You know,
I do not deny ever being physically abusive to my children. That's when they were younger, and I'm in counseling because I've made the pact never to do that to my
And
children.
she blames James for that.
Judge, I haven't got
my fault for
We
her.
have proof that she defrauded the state of Utah unemployment
You
insurance.
don't have to tell me she's admitted to it. Oh, that's another, that's some more fraud?
Yes,
some
Your
more
Honor.
fraud.
Leave in 05?
I did leave in 05.
For a week?
For a week.
Why?
Yes. As a married couple, we fight.
She left, but it was a vacation. She didn't move in.
With them?
No, I did not move in with them.
Pardon me?
I did not move in with him in 2005.
Did you go there for a
I
week?
vacationed there because they wanted
Vacation?
me to. Yes.
You all live in a resort?
Defendants Lacey Rackley and her husband James are being sued by James's sister and her husband, who claim they stepped in to help Lacey after she complained about James physically and verbally abusing her.
This is a welfare
prosecuted.
fraud?
Yes, Your Honor. She was prosecuted by the state of Utah.
She was prosecuted with a felony because she defrauded the state of Utah unemployment for
Fraud
$4,000.
convictions, a third-degree felony.
That must be a resort too.
I have not been convicted of that. I am paying that money back.
That's a conviction.
Found the defendant guilty.
Right.
I'm reading the court record. Be quiet, ma'am. Be quiet. Go ahead. That's why I believe he did everything they're saying to you. Because you're lying, you defrauded the government, you and him. Now I see you defrauded the government even more and going to sit here and insult my intelligence by saying you haven't been convicted when that's the first sentence it says. Go ahead. Tell me about how they owe for loans.
Your Honor, in January, on specifically January 13th, 14th, and 15th, we went down to Utah. We got the U-Haul, paid a hotel, food, gas, paid movers, moved her up to Idaho, paid for her rent, paid for her deposit, got her into an apartment, got her kids enrolled in school. I picked her kids up from school every day, took them to school every day so she could get a job. It was discussed numerous times. I appreciate you helping me. I appreciate you helping me be on my own. I appreciate you helping me become independent. I'll pay you back when I get my taxes. When I get my taxes.
How much was she to pay?
It's the total receipts is $2,402.
And you heard the crowd moan, the audience, because they know, they know anytime you get promised payment from taxes, you never get it.
Statements from
That's what you get for not watching.
That were there.
If you watch me enough, the Judge Mathis show enough, you would know. How did you all determine how much they owed, though?
I saved all the receipts.
She kept all the receipts.
And did she say we'll pay for everything?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And let me hear from you all.
That's not true. And we've never seen any receipt until today. Nobody ever asked for payment. No, we're nothing until we got served for court.
Well, let's back up. Did they help move you? That's the first thing.
Moved her, not me.
Not him.
Oh, why didn't you go?
Because I was back taking care of our home affairs. They showed up unannounced.
So why didn't you move her? Why did they have to?
Because she intervened.
So you would have.
We had a lease that was due until April.
You would have moved her.
I would have.
Okay. So she forced your wife.
So
she forced your wife.
Yes, she did.
Good enough. Now you're playing even more with my intelligence. Your counterclaim is for what?
Your Honor, I have a text message stating from Katrina.
Let's see it.
That says.
Let's see it.
If you look at the last page of the very last text messages, I've asked her to leave us alone.
Yeah, final warning, cease and desist. Yeah. And I see all she's doing is asking for her money.
She's never asked for money.
I'm reading this. What are you talking about? Your claim is dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
You happy?
We don't want anything to do with you guys, so don't contact our kids. Don't contact me. Don't talk about me. I don't want my name out of any of your mouths. You know you're lying.
Except for the lawsuit that will be filed next week.
You guys lied in the courtroom.
That's fine. You can lie about that too.
What's funny? Hang on. About what this? She took care of your family and you couldn't.
Shut up. No, you didn't.
How do you like that?
No, she didn't.
Your mouth runs. That's why you're sitting here, because you can't run.
No.
And your mouth's not running.
Your wife sat there protecting you over other men.
We had our mouths running. Blah, 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 blah.
That's all you do. Continually blah, 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 blah.
We had proof. We had written proof.
And we have proof from a text message from you that says,
and you lost
if I'm so bad, then why do I uproot myself and alter my whole life and ask for nothing in return?
You can't run your mouth because you look dumb.